ready for another lesson?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Back Row Banter, your favorite casual movie talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Adam Schwartz, and on today's episode, we only got two news stories for you, so a bit of a lighter week in the news. We'll get to trailer talk. We do have trailer talk today. It's going to be the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer, our first look at that. We'll get to the new to streaming because after first week of the month, which is usually the heavy week, we're back to another light week. April and May, not stringing together a lot of good things for the new to streaming. We'll get to what we're watching, and then our main review for the episode, The Notebook. But before we get to any of that, I'm joined today by, I forgot to think of new names, Nathaniel Gingrich.
Oh, man, no new
I'll
names.
just use your regular name.
Hi, everyone. How's it going? Boys, we've
How
been
you doing,
talking
Nathaniel?
already. Yeah, I'm doing good, man. I can be the vaccinated man. I got shot
The
number 2
vaccinated
today.
man.
Yeah.
Oh, I got shot number 2 on Thursday.
Oh yeah,
I'm
you
also fully vaxxed.
you a Pfizer or a Moderna boy?
I am part of the Pfizer fam.
Wow.
Hey,
I'm a Moderna
I'm with you,
man.
man. I got my
Hey.
second shot. Was it last Monday?
Not vaccinated.
Soon to be vaccinated.
Soon to be. Man, it's exciting though, getting that second shot. I've just been it's been a lot of stress just off my shoulders.
I felt that way too after the first one. A lot of it. I'm excited to see how
Mhm.
I'll feel after the second one, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. Man.
Like,
How'd you feel after your second one?
Well, so far I'm okay. I mean,
did you get it today?
Yeah, I got it this morning.
Oh man, are you taking off tomorrow?
It's my day off anyways. So
Oh, okay.
I'll be all right.
All right.
Hopefully,
Oh,
yeah.
perfect.
But yeah, so I got like 2 rounds of Tylenol in right now. Just
Okay.
preemptive, having a nurse mom that'll do it for you. But
Right.
right now, nothing too bad. How was your guys' trips with the
I
Moderna?
think I was
the-
fine.
the
I was pretty
Pfizer?
tired though.
A trip,
Uh,
like acid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was really tired. Took a crazy long nap.
Sure.
But that was really
Yeah.
it. Kind of had a headache a little bit, but I mean,
Yeah, but
nothing crazy.
your body's just fucking built different, dude. You're a fucking machine, man. So
Yeah,
like,
D1
dude,
level
yeah.
athlete.
The
Yeah.
person next
It
to
could
you
be, I could
fucking
be.
just out, like lights out cold, like just shakes and everything, and
Blake's like the shonen protagonist and everything, where like everyone else is struggling off something. He like throws a trash can into the like sky.
Mine weren't too bad. First one was actually, both of them are pretty much the same, just some arm soreness. And
Right.
after the second one, the next day I felt like a tad bit tired, but like I already had COVID, so
Yeah, that's true.
I wasn't.
I forgot about
You got
that
some
too much.
antibodies already.
Yeah, exactly. And well, what's weird about it is I went with my buddy, and he also had COVID at the same time I did. And then his nurse was telling him after the first shot that the second shot can actually be worse for people who have had COVID because your body's already built up a immune response to it, and so like it knows what to do right away, and then it will make you like have a fever and really sick like right away. That didn't end up being the case for me, and I don't think the case for him either. But at least that's what was passed along from that nurse. So
makes sense. In theory.
yeah, in theory, on paper. That voice over there is still in the Best Buy gear, Tyler Vidalis.
Hey, what's up, guys? I
Soon-
just came back from work.
Soon to be my boss, Tyler Vidalis.
So let's go.
Oh, you're poaching
Oh, okay.
Schwartzy?
He's
You're going
technically
there, when you
technically
get back?
not poached.
Sure.
He doesn't.
Yeah, they let me go, man. I was a
technically
free
work.
agent.
Yeah, so
Sure.
I drafted.
Well, start handing stuff up. Dibs on Schwartzy as my handoff guy.
Yeah, I'm excited to go get back to work over the summer because I didn't work last summer at Best Buy.
Man,
It'll
it's
be
starting a
great
rivalry
summer.
now.
Yeah, I feel like there already was kind of a rivalry, a little bit.
If I build it, they will come.
That's true.
Yeah. I might have to come in there and visit you guys in the summer, man.
Oh yeah,
Please do.
I'll put you on a temporary. I'll put you on like OS. You can just come work on it like once a month. I don't give a shit.
I mean, technically, I could just walk into your store and sell there too one day.
Yeah. Let's do it. We can put all 4 of us
Get the
back in
band
there.
back together.
we'll just start talking about movies, and might as well just put a mic right there. It'll be the podcast.
There you go.
Yeah.
It'll be our first meet and greet. Kill me.
There's a line out the door.
While working.
Yeah, you can meet us. You just got to buy something too.
Actually, I don't even care if you buy anything. Just apply for a card.
There we
Right.
go.
Yeah, apply for a
Rounding
card.
out
You
the
get to meet one of the Back Row Banter members.
Yep.
That's funny.
Rounding out the squadron is, man, I can't even think of one off the top of my head. BlakeHolder.
What's up?
I'm trying. I should.
He's no longer in the mystery machine.
No,
longer
no.
the mystery
I have
machine
I have
escaped.
migrated back down to the basement again.
Shout out Papa
So-
Schwartz for that graphic he sent me over the week.
Oh yeah, we need to post that on
definitely.
the
Shout out
socials.
Papa Schwartz. That was funny.
Yeah, we should. I can post that. But viewers, it was our Back Row Banter logo superimposed over the characters of Scooby Doo.
I had a
forgot
sick
who it was who,
outfit, dude.
Yeah, you were real
Yeah,
in
dude, I
on
look
your,
like a fucking boss.
on your fit.
Yeah.
It was funny though. First fan art.
True, technically,
It
man.
is.
Schwartz
Yeah.
is getting Papa Schwartz is getting in a lot of firsts.
He's man. He's really climbing his way up. The,
Foley better think of
fan
something quick.
rankings.
Foley's like
Yeah,
listening
come on,
to this.
Foley.
Like,
Step it up.
do I beat the shit out of
Alrighty.
Papa Schwartz? Do I take his New Balances? Are they too powerful? I don't know what to do.
Challenge him to a game of tennis.
Papa Schwartz. I don't know if I've ever seen him play tennis. I think I've seen him play one time.
Really? What was Papa Schwartz's game? We were talking about this a little bit earlier. How did you get into tennis then? I just
How did
kind
I
of
get into
assumed.
tennis?
Yeah.
My dad was always got me into baseball. That's where I played baseball. From.
Sure.
And then he really drove me. I played travel for like 5 years. Tennis was like my secondary sport. I always did tennis camps in the summer. That was just something my mom would like sign me up for, and kind of just stuck with it. And then eventually went to the high school camps when I entered like middle school, I think it was, or 5th grade. And then I got to know the high school coaches that were there for when I got to high school, and they kind of just talked me into playing tennis instead of baseball. And I knew that our baseball team was not very good, and both my brothers quit baseball because of the varsity baseball head coach. Like once they got to that level,
Scandal.
they just hated them and left. So I was
Yeah,
like,
no.
I don't really want to do that. I'm pretty good at tennis. I know the coaches. They like me and everything, and so
Yeah.
I went there and played 4 years of varsity, which was fun. So
Bit of sizzle.
bit of sizzle.
There you go.
All right. Well, let's get in the news here, gentlemen. Our first news story of the day. Paramount Plus to debut one original movie a week beginning in 2022. Before you get your hopes up on this one, the headlining is slightly misleading, as it is a quote from their CEO saying that they're going to hopefully do like about a movie a week. So don't expect 52 original movies coming to Paramount Plus next year. I don't know. They didn't give an exact number or anything.
If
like
they're doing
that.
52, we got to be able to get at least one of those, right? Let's start writing a script here, boys.
Yeah, I mean, if they're just throwing money at
I'm
people.
telling you.
We'll start pitching.
Yeah. Happened with Quibi, right? We missed that. We dodged that bullet.
Yeah, we
let's get Back Row Productions going up, and we'll get on these guys.
I actually had Quibi for a little bit.
I know you did.
Yeah,
It was a weird time in our
it
relationship.
was. Try being me.
Did you go vertical or did you go horizontal? Because that was the big selling point, right? You could do either direction.
Yeah, I'm a big horizontal guy.
You're a horizontal man.
Yeah.
That makes sense. But anyways, Paramount Plus getting a movie a
Paramount
week. huh?
Plus. Yeah, about a movie a week. This is kind of similar to Netflix's. Netflix is doing, I think, more than a movie a week. They're like an
Oh.
original a week, so either a
Yeah,
movie or a
that's
show.
what it sounds like to me. It's like
Yeah.
extreme.
That's crazy.
Well, this week I can talk to it a little bit more later. But this week for the newest streaming, it was just all Netflix originals, really. For
Just
Netflix.
hemorrhaging money.
Do we?
They gotta be, man. They gotta be.
What are the headlines that Paramount Plus is putting out in 2022? Do we know any of those?
They haven't really confirmed any. All they talked about in the story were like things like they're adding about 1,000 new movies by June or in early June, and then they're hoping to have
How many movies
towards the
are
end of
left?
July. Towards the end of July, adding another like 2,500 or so, or bring the total to 2,500. So adding
That
another
many.
1,500.
Yes.
And
Curious
then
what they'd be putting on there.
yeah,
what the
I mean, I have
add
to get
shows.
this now, right?
We gotta find out.
I mean, you have to run out. Everybody's running out and getting Paramount Plus, right?
What's the price?
Where's
on
my
that
cricket
subscription?
sound?
I think we looked it up. I think it was cheap, like less than $10 a month.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't know. I don't have like a subscription. I basically just
Mooch.
leech off everyone else's.
maybe this is the one you sign up for.
Maybe this is the one.
I'm
Paramount
down.
Plus has
Yeah.
2 tiers. Yeah, you can either do $6 a month for limited ads or $10 a month for no ads.
Oh.
Or you can do it $60 a year or $100 a year.
Oh, so it's like Xbox.
Yeah, just do the $100 ones. Just call it good
Yeah, that's not that bad.
$60 for a year.
Yeah.
with ads.
Oh, what's it without ads?
100.
100.
Still not bad. You save
Yeah.
him $20.
Right. Yeah, that's still not bad. That's $7-some a month. $8-some a month.
I mean, when you look at what Paramount has, they listed some of the movies in the story, but they have things like the Mission Impossible series.
Right.
They have A Quiet Place, Paranormal Activity. Like they don't. Paramount does make a lot of good stuff, and if they get a lot of the things that they have made on that service, it won't be half bad. Like we've talked a lot of shit about it because I don't know if a production company really needs their own streaming service, and it's getting really excessive at this point. But when
Right.
you do look at what they'll have, it's honestly not too bad of a lineup.
I mean, they came out swinging for already being in an extremely saturated market. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess we'll see.
we'll see. I would love to know what their numbers are,
I would too.
or if they're trending more Quibi level.
It's got to be higher than Quibi.
You think?
Yeah, it's Paramount.
Fair enough.
And then, Blake, to answer your question from earlier, there's a sci-fi thriller starring Mark Wahlberg that's called
Ooh.
Infinite. That's called Infinite. That was supposed to release, it will just bypass the theatrical release and head straight to Paramount Plus early next year.
Okay. You know, I like Mark
Oh,
Wahlberg.
not early next year. I misspoke. Late June. I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah, I like Wahlberg though. I mean, I'm signed up for a sci-fi.
But like again, has anyone heard of that movie? And you're now a month
I hadn't.
out. Yeah,
No, I have not.
I hadn't until I.
and
saw
that's
this.
gonna be your big thing. Like,
I have.
like
It's a huge movie.
It just-
Huge production. It's Mark Wahlberg.
it reminds me of like Apple Plus or Apple
Apple TV Plus.
Apple TV Plus. Yeah, where like, oh, there was a Tom Hanks movie that came out.
Tom Hanks.
Sorry, Papa Schwartz. We know that was your number one last year. But like, yeah, I mean, it just the idea of a new movie coming out isn't enough to pull someone to a streaming network, and the idea of having like a star with it, quote unquote, isn't enough to pull people in. I feel like at this point, it's almost back to the days of word of mouth. You need to have someone in your ear constantly being like, hey, you got to get Netflix to watch Stranger Things, or you got to get Disney Plus to watch The Mandalorian
Right.
before you
Mhm.
can really have anything, you know?
Yeah, we'll see. I think eventually I might have to get a free trial or something, or at least browse what Paramount Plus has when, probably when they add those like 2,500 titles and they get to that total.
Sure.
Because I think once they do get there, like I said, they'll have some kind of decent slate because Paramount does make some good stuff. It's stuff that people enjoy. So I think it just depends what rights they get back from other streaming services to put their own movies
Yeah, absolutely.
True.
onto the service. All right. Well, speaking of oversaturated streaming services and their original content, Dave Bautista joins Knives Out sequel.
Cool.
All right.
I'm with it. Like
Yeah.
Dave, like Knives Out.
I can imagine him having a couple fun back and forth with Benoit Blanc.
Yeah.
Benoit Blanc. Yeah. That'll be fun. We've talked about Bautista and our enthusiasm for him. We've talked about it actually quite a bit recently, I feel
Yeah.
like.
And he'll be on here soon, right? In Army of the Dead.
Yes, he will. Not
Yeah.
next week, but the week after for Army of
Right.
the Dead. Bit of sizzle.
Is that the first time we'll have Dave on here?
We
yeah.
haven't done Blade Runner 2049, even though we've
Yeah.
talked about it since like episode 1.
Yeah.
I think it might be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Wow.
Yeah, because we don't have
No
any of the
Suicide-
Guardians
or
on there
no
either.
Guardians.
And not any of the
But,
Avengers, yeah.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll have him soon.
Well, that's all there really is to that news story, since there's no like character details or anything given with that. But I thought I'd toss that in since it was a bit of a slower news week.
Much appreciated.
Trailer talk, guys.
Trailer talk.
Not a slow news week for trailer talk. We got Venom, Let There Be Carnage, the sequel to, what was it, 2017, 2018 Venom?
2019.
20.
Gotta be 2019, right?
Yeah,
No.
2019 seems late.
All right, maybe not.
No. It might be 19.
Was it like
might be
early
2018.
20? Oh
18?
man, 2018.
Take
There
that
it
Yeah,
one,
is.
Daniel.
All right, Blake won. Nathaniel
we're-
also won.
What are our thoughts here, guys? I haven't seen the first Venom yet. I've heard
Oh, I
mixed
forgot you always
things.
say
Some
that.
people love it. Some people hate it.
I've seen the first one. First
Yeah,
one's okay. There's
I-
obviously some issues, but
I
it's
haven't
not
seen
as
it.
it's not as bad as
Sure.
like the internet probably makes it look.
I haven't seen it since it came out.
No, yeah, I agree.
The way I remember it was just boring.
I
Like
thought
it's
there was some
boring for the
pretty good.
it's boring for the first 45 minutes,
Yeah.
and then it goes batshit insane for the last 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And half of that is up to Tom Hardy just giving it his all. But like that was
Yeah.
one of those ones that was originally supposed to be R-rated, and then like it was clear that they made a bunch of cuts
Yeah.
to it, and like I could see a much
I think
darker
that's where
version
it
of the
went wrong.
story
Oh,
too.
100%.
And like it just and so this one they seem to just be going more
Marvel.
yeah in a lot of ways.
Yep.
Yeah. It seems
Mhm.
like they might have like gotten some advice from
Played on the comedy portion of it a
from
little bit
Feige,
more.
yeah, or something like that.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
I think the trailer looks great.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited for it.
I thought
like,
it looked great for the first 20 seconds, and then I was like, "Oh, they're gonna do like a plot to this." Like
Yeah.
I would just take, I would
It's like,
take,
no, I just want to see him in Venom.
right. Like
Yeah.
I would take an
Tom Hardy
hour and a
Venom.
half of Venom, just do a Mortal
beating
Kombat.
up Carnage.
Yeah, have
just
it-
them going at it.
Yeah, have it be a
Um,
tournament.
Yeah, I think because of the first
That
one,
would be
there's
a
got to be a
tournament.
little bit of like a plot here. I hope they kind of stay away from it a little bit, but like there's like cool things in there. Like Justin and I were talking about earlier today
Mm.
because we watched it. But Carnage smushes a spider, which is funny
Yeah.
because Spider-Man,
Spider-Man,
and they obviously
for
have
sure,
their little issues, and so yeah, I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I don't know if they're obviously it doesn't show a whole lot. Like they're probably planning some other things to be
except-
put in here.
Yeah.
You get a real good look at Carnage.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I my hopes are high. I
Mhm.
don't hate the first one. I think it's pretty decent, and I guess we'll see.
From that look of Carnage, did you feel like he was too close in design to Venom, though?
I was gonna say
not necessarily. They're supposed to be.
Right,
Yeah,
but
right.
I
They're
feel
still
like
from the same family or
Right.
whatever you want to call them.
I feel like Carnage is always depicted like more like spindly and red, though. Like this already looks like it's just going to be another battle at night of big CGI monsters. and some
Right.
else.
I was gonna say. I mean, this looks exactly like. I see this movie going exactly like the first one, where, like you said, that at the end there's going to be a battle at night between Venom and or how it was Venom and Riot. I
Right.
think it's going to be Venom and Carnage. That's exactly what it looked like to me. And to be honest, I'm okay with that as long as Tom Hardy is there and Eddie's there. What is Eddie Brock? I think that's
Yeah.
the character his name
Yeah.
he plays. And just hearing him voice Venom, I'm like, fuck it, I'm cool. You can have my
Yeah, they seem to
$6.
they
I'll
seem to
watch
made
the
the voice more of a character in this one. Like the last one was almost like
Exactly.
it was just like screaming at him all the time. Now it's just like it's got a little bit of like wit to it and tone.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
definitely grown to be his own character
Sure.
more so than the first one. So
Woody Harrelson, I'm sure could play a good psychopath. I kind of just want this to be like him to be more of a psychopath.
yeah,
you know.
at least they cut his fucking hair.
Yeah, that tomato wig was bad. The Raggedy Ann wig that they had in the first one.
Like fucking carrot top.
So if you haven't seen Venom, in the first Venom, there's a stinger after the credits that features Woody Harrelson as Carnage.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You
Yeah.
you
In the-
know
in the
this now
jail
because
cell,
it
right?
was in the literal trailer. But he has this insane Raggedy Ann wig on during it. Like
I'm so glad they didn't have that in this.
if you haven't seen it, it's worth the Google just to like
Yeah.
picture and go, how the hell did that ever make it?
All right.
to-
Well, now I gotta see it.
No, that shit looks crazy.
Like
bro.
what
Man.
production designers just
Yeah.
signing off on this one?
Yeah, that looked bad. I'm glad they didn't put that in the new trailer because that just would have. They would have shitted on this trailer if they would have put that.
Oh boy, that's bad.
It's
Oh,
like
that's
tomato red.
horrendous.
And like,
Wow. That's
So, yeah.
impressively awful.
Venom. I just hope it's batshit insane. That's what I want at this point. Like I don't need a story where we
Yeah.
where we like humanize Eddie and make him cool and make him best buds with Spider-Man. I just want I want there to be carnage. I know, right? Quick entry into the worst title of all time, by the way.
Yeah, it's not great.
Why don't it just call it Venom Carnage? Or
Mm,
Venom 2.
I feel like that's
Electric
a little tough. 'Cause
Boogaloo.
then when you're, you could do. I like the Electric Boogaloo. I don't know. I still need to see the first one before I can have like any reaction to this. Because if I don't like the first one, I'm not really gonna care about this one. But
Yeah.
from the trailer, I mean, I know a little bit about Carnage and his background, and it seems fine. You're right, Nathaniel. He does look almost exactly the same as Venom, and I get that's like the point. But I guess we'll see. We did only get like one clear look at him.
They're
maybe
symbiotes.
there's some
So like
different
you'll
stuff.
see like Carnage is definitely supposed to be more like lengthy and like a little bit more
Mhm.
scrawny looking, whereas
Yeah.
like Venom's supposed to be like way more bulked up.
I think you can tell them apart, like, in their silhouettes.
Yeah.
But I just think coloring, they seem very similar to each other in that trailer.
I think they'll bring out the
You
red.
think so?
Yeah, I think they're just gonna like
Yeah, they
blow
got
it
it.
out.
Well, I
Like,
think-
you almost have to.
I want them to do something cool, like
Yeah, they have
do
to.
them like glowy or something, like
Yeah.
just give me something a little bit
even
more.
when they
'cause
put like they're trying to put the poison in Woody Harrelson's,
Yeah, and you saw it
and then
shoot
and you
out.
kind of like see that bright red. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be more or less like that most of the time.
just Riot was just too close to Venom for me. Like I had a tough
Yeah.
time in that scene knowing who was who.
Sure.
In a lot of ways. And like, yeah, I guess that's too. Like, I hope Carnage is more memorable than Riot, because until Blake actually said that name, I almost
no
forgot
idea who
he
he
was in that
was.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What are the odds you think Jared Leto's Morbius the Vampire shows up in this?
None.
Really?
Yeah.
0.
I put it like 25, 30%.
Nah. I mean that's
Wow.
not even.
What makes you
It's
pull
just-
that?
It's not even.
Because
Yeah,
I
it's a
think
pretty high percentage.
I think Sony's desperately trying to build their Sinister
their
Six.
universe.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
And you've got Morbius out, and that's already coming out, and they've now had extra time to film on this. I
you
think there's
might get like an ending scene, like
Well,
a,
that's
like
what
a
I'm
cut
saying.
scene, but
I
I
think it
don't
might be
think
an
you
ending
see
scene.
anything like credits. Maybe I don't think you see anything.
I'm
before
just
credits,
saying
though.
show up. I'm not saying he's like an
Yeah.
actual character.
I don't know. I think
We'll see.
20. Would
don't
you
know.
say 25?
You don't think there's at some point they're like, your blood's weird, Woody? And they're like, you've got to go see this other weird blood guy. It's Magic Blood. The Magic Blood storyline's coming back again. And then they're going to be like, and then you're going to get the slow pan down, and then it's going to be Dr. Morbius. And then Jared Leto's going to walk in and be like, all
Maybe
himself.
I don't know, but it's technically not blood.
Well, he's not technically a vampire, so.
I don't know.
well-
Maybe.
I think so. I think he's showing up. Book it now, folks. Mark my words.
You think we see Tobey Maguire?
No.
I really hope so. That'd be hilarious.
What do we got on the completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of
Second week of
May
May.
9th?
519 to
May
515. Thank you for that transition, Blake. That was very nice.
Before we completely move out of this topic, I'd like it to be known.
Uh-oh.
I'd like us to, as a podcast, come up with some sort of bet that we can do consistently. You know, like slap bets and How I Met Your Mother or something. We need to come up with
Okay.
something like a betting system.
I listened to a
down.
podcast once. They did in and out bets, and the loser would always have to buy the other one in and out.
Okay, yeah.
That'd be an expensive.
Maybe we
Uber
could
Unfortunately,
Eats.
we don't have that. We'd have to do that.
We can do Portillo's or something.
Yeah,
There you go.
I'd agree with that.
All right.
Nathaniel would have been awfully close. Nathaniel would have hit a fucking home run on that Godzilla vs Kong riding his back. Because I would have gave you that one just
You
for
would-
the bet. 'Cause
all
that was
right.
as close as we got.
We were so
And you know
close.
exactly what scene I'm talking about too. Yeah.
All right.
Sorry,
well,
let's get
Venom
let's-
Let There Be Carnage. Yeah, it's going to be released September 14th, so look forward to that. Time for the Adam Schwartz's completely subjective new to streaming list for the week of 519 to 515.
that needs a
Yeah.
stinger.
To Netflix. What'd you say?
I need to come up with a musical cue for that.
That'd be great. We'll think of one.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll make like a soundbite of myself saying.
There you go.
something. All right. Yeah, I don't know.
You need a catchphrase.
Yeah, I'll get a catchphrase. Cool. To Netflix, you got Love, Death, and Robots Volume 2. Ty, you were just telling me about
In.
this like last week or the week
Nice.
before.
Yeah.
how it's right
Yeah,
up
we
my
watched this. This was like one of the last things
It
we
really
watched
was.
before I moved out.
I think it might have been.
Yeah.
Beautiful first season. If you have not seen Love, Death, and Robots, go and watch it. If you don't like the first couple episodes, just skip around. There's gonna be one for you.
Yeah. They're all great.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of that.
Yeah, there are some that maybe miss a little bit,
Mhm.
but other than that, I mean, even the ones that miss, like the art styles on those ones that are still miss, it's more of like a storytelling that might be a miss for me versus like the art style of like each individual episode. But I fucking love it.
Yeah, and they're 17 minutes too. So if one's not like up your alley, you can.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, they're
How many episodes in the first season?
12, I think.
Something like that. Yeah.
So you can easily
it's not
power
bad
it
at
out
all.
in like an afternoon or something like that, or even an evening for the most part. But yeah, it's an anthology series, so each little episode is a different story. Obviously, each episode is, I think there may be one or two that feature some live action in there, but for the most part, they're all animated in different styles. A lot of photorealism, some traditional styles too. It's really interesting. It's produced on Netflix, I believe, by Tim Miller from Deadpool. So he got his start as a VFX artist too. So he knows a lot of people in the industry. I feel like I don't know this, but I feel like it was a lot of like kind of him showing what these guys can do and stuff. Because Deadpool, that's a movie that was made for $20 million and looks like 40. Or they did a great job with that movie for that. So he's got a really good eye. It's also David Fincher has a hand in producing it too. So
Cool.
a lot of times they are stories or short stories that have been adapted to it. But yeah, it's a really good series. I'll be excited for season 2.
It's a blast.
Sure.
Yeah.
Looks great on an OLED.
My favorite. Now you sold me.
Blake, have you checked out any of that? Love, Death, and Robots?
I have not, man. No.
Would recommend. Some good horror ones in there too.
Yeah, I definitely would
Okay.
recommend, especially with like you and I being so YouTube heavy. Like 17 minutes is like prime time, and like you could just literally plow through a ton of them, and next thing you know, you finish the season.
Blake, I think you would definitely really like a lot of those actually. Thinking back
yeah,
on
I'm
it,
gonna have
like
to check that out.
you'd be a good recommend for that one. Ty, do you have a favorite episode on that? I know we were kind of talking about it a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of good ones.
Mm.
I'd have to look at the names to like actually.
What about the ones that we watched?
The main one with the girl and the lizard where she's
Sure.
yeah.
Sonny's Edge.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah. That's probably like the most captivating one for most people.
For sure.
The ranch one,
Yeah, that was a good one.
that's always a fun one. I'm a really big fan of mechs. It literally just makes me want to play Titanfall too.
Yeah, it's very cool. I really like the Fox one.
Yeah, the Fox one's really great. It's just got like that kind of old school like anime kind of drawn kind of feeling.
And I just really like that. Like, I can see that as a short story.
Yeah.
Like, my literature brain kicks in, and I just
100%.
like go, oh, yeah, I bet
and how
this
it
would be
just
awesome
changes
to
with the
read.
times.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, I remember watching that and I was just like, dude, I got to tell everybody about this. It was so great. So yeah, I'm in.
Sorry. What's next on the list?
You're good. I'll probably
No,
actually
yeah.
be checking that out pretty soon. Next on the list to Netflix, The Woman in the Window. This is an Amy Adams thriller that was actually originally set to release in 2019, and for some reason I guess got pushed back, and then I'm sure COVID happened and got pushed back even further. But it's landing on Netflix. So if you're interested in that, go check that out there. That'll be it for Netflix. Amazon Prime and Hulu are both getting Saint Maud. That's the 2019 A24 horror flick. Have you seen it?
2020.
I have 20. It was slated to come out in 2019.
Okay.
Then it got pushed back due to COVID. Then I think it got released in like summer of 2020 in some places
Gotcha.
in Europe.
Gotcha.
Maybe. Then they gave it an American release on streaming. That was like January of 2021. But yeah, that's good, fellas. I mean, I think you guys can already just understand A24's place in horror, right? Just with a few movies we do talk
Sure.
about. So it's not Ari Aster. It's directed by Rose Glass. That was actually her debut. But yeah, that movie's good, man. Definitely. Good play on religion and using like God and positive religious figures, quote unquote, as kind of like villains. So it's good. It's good. I think you guys will like it.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Scariest movie you've seen so far this year?
In terms of new, I've only seen that and In the Earth.
Okay, fair enough.
I haven't seen The Vigil. That's one I want to get to.
That did look
And
scary.
Yeah, some people say it's pretty good. I don't think it'll be better than Saint Maud. But I'll have to take a look at that. But I would say between the two, I think Saint Maud is
For sure.
miles better than In the Earth.
Fair enough.
Cool. That's all for Amazon Prime and Hulu. To HBO Max, we're getting the wonderful Wonder Woman 1984.
You
Yes.
can't get rid of that
It's
thing.
back
I'm never watching that movie again. I'll say
No.
it first.
Facts.
with the gun to my head.
Gun to your head, gun to your balls. Are you watching it
Uh,
again?
I mean, I'm a realist, so yes. But it would take a lot, you know. That movie sucks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd have to like you'd have to pay me or threaten to kill me or somebody I love.
Yeah, for sure, Tyler. There's no way I'm willing to turn that off.
I bet all three of you watch that movie again at some point in your life. I want you to call me when you do.
I don't know.
No.
I'll avoid it, but I'm sure it'll be inevitable. I'll watch it at some point for some like DC rewatch or something.
Right. Yeah.
We'll do a commentary on it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's it for HBO Max. To Disney Plus, you were getting the Star Wars Bad Batch episode 3. Ty, have you watched episodes 1 and 2 yet?
I have.
Ooh.
Do you want to wait for what we're watching?
Yeah, it's cool.
All right, cool. We'll circle back to that. X-Men Last Stand is the only other thing coming to Disney Plus, and that'll be it for new streaming.
you like The
Ty,
Last Stand?
tell us about Star Wars: The Bad
It's
Batch.
one of the better ones.
Sorry, I cut you off right there, Adam. Have you seen The Last Stand? X-Men The Last Stand?
I think I have. I think I've seen all the X-Men movies. I don't know how many times I've seen them, and I can't really differentiate them, but I'm pretty sure I have.
I remember that movie came out. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean,
not, it's not very good.
No, I don't think it's awesome now,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's like terrible.
That was one of the first ones I remember like reading a review for.
Yeah.
And I remember our newspaper reviewer in Arizona gave it like 4 out of 5 stars. And so in my mind, I was like, man, 4 out of 5, really great. Went to the movie, saw it, loved it. And it wasn't until like I got to college that I started like looking at reviews on IMDb that I saw he was like the only person to give it the positive
high
of
of
a
a
review.
review.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not like terrible, but
It's just not very good.
No, it's not.
I remember that being one of the better X-Men movies, though.
Well, I think more X-Men are more bad than they are good at this
100%.
point.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I mean, that's not high appraisal by any means, but
So anyways.
Ty, tell
yeah.
us about Star Wars: The Bad Batch. How's it going?
Bad Batch is sick, man. Part of me wants this to be like live action so bad.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But obviously I know like where it's coming from. I watched all the Clone Wars and everything beforehand, and I've seen that series probably 3 or 4 times through. So I knew of Bad Batch. Bad Batch, when they were on that, were just awesome. They were
Yeah.
captivating. They were different. Everyone was like, "What the fuck is that?" So yeah, it was a blast. I had a lot of fun. I actually watched it on the 4th because May the 4th,
Of course.
Star Wars Day. So yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. The first episode was way longer than I thought. I did
Is it
not
like
look
an
at
hour long?
Yeah, I did not look at the timestamps or
Oh,
anything
wow.
like that. And then I was like, I was building essentially my room
Right.
and the new office, and I just kept looking like over at the screen. I'm like, how
Still
long
going.
is this? I was
Is
like,
it, was it like 2 episodes jammed together, or was it like an actual hour-long storyline?
no, it was like a full blown story.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the second episode was like half hour, I think.
Sure.
So, but it's been a ton of fun. I'm very happy so far.
It's awesome. Do you want to keep it going with what we're watching?
Yeah, what else you been watching?
I
I can ask you that now, because you're not here.
I didn't write a lot of stuff down. I probably should have. I got to get better at that because now I don't have somebody to kind of like, refresh my memory
Well,
on what I watched.
I know you watched Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
So yeah, we watched Guardians on Saturday. Saturday was a lot of fun. We went and did like Mother's Day stuff beforehand, and then Leah had to study for school and everything like that. So I had Rob, Ryan, Justin, and Nathaniel over at the new place. We did Guardians, and then I finished it, but we did.
I did the same 45 minutes of Fast and Furious that
Yeah.
I'd seen 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, so we did Fast and Furious. I did a ton of YouTube and streaming just because I was home all week, so it was just easy to have on while I was doing stuff at the apartment. Notebook. Oh, Leah and I have been watching this documentary on whales. It's called Secret Life of Whales or
Yeah,
something
you're
like
saying
that.
that was on Disney Plus or something like
Yep.
that?
So we've been cruising through that. That's been really fun to just
Is that
kind
a
of throw on
series?
like during dinner. Yeah, it's narrated by Sigourney Weaver, and she doesn't miss.
Right.
So we've still been doing that.
Man, you got to start writing these down, don't
I
you?
know, yeah, I really have to because I feel like I really watched a lot. I watched Rogue One on May the 4th, and
Okay.
then later that night after Bad Batch was over, I watched A New Hope.
Classic.
Yeah, and that was like a 2-day thing. I
Mhm.
ended it at night when I was ready to go to bed at like 2 a.m. and then not a usual time for me to go to bed
was
either.
gonna say,
It was
very late.
very late. And then I finished it the next day. Man, I really don't. I don't remember anything else.
Well, some will
Maybe
come back
it
to
will.
you.
If it doesn't, maybe I'll mention it next week. But
Pepper 'em in.
I think that's all I got for now. Yeah, I'm terrible with this, so
Hey,
I gotta write it down. Technology, it's what it's for.
that's right. Who's next?
Nathaniel.
me
Nathaniel,
to
you can
go?
go ahead.
All right.
Yeah.
We are obviously Tyler.
There's a
and
new
Waz.
we.
Yeah, there's a new we.
There's a new
So obviously Tyler has moved out. Waz has moved in. With a new roommate comes new viewing habits. So we'll see how this flavor has changed now. I can already tell you we're going to be watching way more anime. Probably more anime than I ever
Good.
anticipated watching in my entire life.
Okay.
But hey, that's all right. So Waz actually
that's perfectly fine.
Waz is actually catching up on One Piece. I have read all of One Piece. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's long. That's long.
So he's actually pretty close to it. And again, works well for me because I don't actually have to catch up because I'm more or less ahead of him. But that's obviously awesome. I love One Piece. It's great. What else have we been watching? I've started Hunter x Hunter.
Ooh,
Which
okay. That's one I've been really wanting to start. I mean, I'll get to it, but I finished Demon Slayer, so that's one I've been kind of thinking about starting soon.
for sure. Yeah, it's cute. Like it's weird to say that about like a shonen anime, but I'm kind of glad I'm starting this now when I'm 28 and I can kind of like see it and not look too critically on it or not want to just not like something because it is kind of sweet and earnest. Because if I saw this when I was like 22, I would have been like, oh, the main character is just like a child and annoying and dumb or whatever. But now I kind of view him as like, oh, I can see why he's written this way, and he's a really nice, sweet protagonist and everything. But yeah, it's interesting. I would put it at like that a good buffer of like 12 to 13, like that Harry Potter age, because there is death in it and there is kind of violence too, but it's also mixed with this pretty light tone as well. So it's pretty cool. It's an easy watch, and I like that they don't each episode is like 20 minutes, but they pretty much take up the 20 minutes. It's not like an 8-minute filler or a recap of the next episode and then a 6-minute preview of the next episode. So that's cool. In terms of movies, we went on a Nick Cage kick this week. So I got to I got to Willy's Wonderland. Which, if you haven't heard, came out pretty recently. It's basically Five Nights at Freddy's, and if you don't know what that is, it's Nick Cage plays a character who is hired. He's completely silent the whole movie. Not a spoiler.
Of course.
He's completely silent in the whole movie. He's stopped in a roadside town, and through various circumstances, has to clean this basically Chuck E. Cheese ripoff called Willy's Wonderland. But all of the animatronic figures are coming to life and attempting to kill him. And so he has to fight back against them. Came out earlier this year. It clearly made on a pretty low budget, but pretty fun. I mean, I think I had, a couple beers, hanging out with Waz, threw it on. And you know what? It's not the worst way to spend an evening.
Yeah.
Right.
Uses a really annoying effect where they do the strobe light thing. Where you'll have the strobe light going and then you'll see someone move in the background. They kind of move between the blinks.
Yep.
I've apparently reached the age where that just annoys.
Is it cool anymore?
Me. Annoys my eyes now. And what's funny is they used it again in the other Nick Cage film I watched this week, which was Mandy, which Blake, have you gotten to that yet?
I've heard of that one.
No, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen that.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's another kind of like quasi rock and roll horror film, starring Nick Cage, whose wife Mandy is they run afoul of some cultists, and it turns into kind of a rock and roll revenge movie.
Interesting.
It's really weird.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
But it's kind of pretty cool too.
Yeah.
That pair, like those three or those two plus Color Out of Space, have been this really kind of fun Nick Cage vein to go on, where he's doing this just really weird horror movies. But I like him in horror because I feel like it allows him to over emote the most.
Sure.
Past what people would consider a normal range.
Yeah.
And it still works in the context of the film because horror is so easily skewable anyways. But yeah, that one's Mandy's much more kind of a serious tone to it, but it's also got this just insane. It's like almost the whole movie is shot like bathed in either red light or like blue light as well. There's almost no conventional lighting in it at all.
That's the thing that struck me the most when I watched the trailer for it, because this was a movie my brother suggested I watch when I first got my Hue Sync box, so that all the lights in my room were syncing to the TV. He really wanted to watch that with me with the lights, and so
I can imagine.
I remember that for is having a lot of like reds and weird colors come up on screen, even in the trailer.
Yeah, so that's that would definitely be a cool experience. Absolutely, I would recommend that.
Yeah.
But you should check it out. But yeah, those were my new movies this week. I'm trying to think. Too, I didn't do a great job of vlogging anything else that I watched. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy over at Tyler's house, as well as Fast and Furious. But I think that was pretty much it for me, other than YouTube. I keep wanting to go back into Saw, but then I just kind of remember the rest of the Saws, and I'm like, oh man, that's a taller task than I think it is, isn't it?
Yeah, dude. I'll touch on that when I get to what we're watching. But yeah, you're spot on.
If you want to start that, I mean, I think that's pretty much it for me this week. I'll try and be better next week. I've got a good list now of kind of stuff I haven't seen, so maybe I'll be stopping in here soon. But Blake, what did you think on your Saw rewatch? Have you been continuing forward, or have you stalled?
Yeah, man. So I've gotten to a few things. So as I said last week, I got through the first 3 Saws 2 weeks ago, I think I should say. This past week, I got to Saw 4 and 5. And
all right.
To your point, dude, yeah, it's just fucking hard, man. to keep clicking those and watching them.
If you got 4 and 5, that just means you've got 6, 7, and Jigsaw left, right?
Yes, correct. I think it's like 6, the final chapter, and then Jigsaw.
I've not seen Jigsaw.
I think I have. I think I saw that in theaters when it came out. But yeah, dude, to your original point though, it's tough, man. The first one is so good. And
right.
It's like a detective movie. It's not a super gory torture porn movie, you know? And they just slowly just go down that path. Each movie, it's just like worse, like more gore. And the plot, they still kind of have a detective plot in the background, but it's like it's so half-assed, and like now it almost doesn't make sense. I'm going on to the 6th one,
right? Like everyone knows each other somehow, or has run into each other before. It's like the John Wick universe, but like times 8.
Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know. It's cool. Some stuff is kind of fluky. Some of the traps are cool though. I would say that, but yeah, that's not really what the people who originally got into Saw. It wasn't for those things,
right?
No.
So it kind of sucks.
Yeah, there's one.
There's the other way.
There's one where like the traps just stop being winnable, and that was the point where I was like, oh man, I'm out.
You're
on this
right,
now.
dude. That basically starts on, I want to say the 3rd one. To be honest, you can probably push it to the 4th. But yeah, but at that point, that has more to do with, super spoiler alert, with the people who are creating the traps, right? It's no longer John, it's other people,
Right,
and so,
right.
and so forth. Right. But yeah, it's to your point, like the original game was like traps that people could get out of to see if they were really worth living. And like now it's like how could you possibly even survive that?
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it's different, dude. There's no other way to say it. You're right. It's hard. I'm gonna struggle watching the fucking next 3. I'll tell you that.
We'll get a group chat going. We'll just live tweet it to each other, and maybe that'll power us through.
Yeah. I'm curious how the new one's gonna do. Spiral.
Me too.
I hope they go back to kind of the original. It looks like it from the trailer, though.
I think it
Right.
almost has
So-
to.
I
Like,
think so,
I think
too.
they've realized their mistake, and
For sure, bro.
now that Chris is there,
Well, I think they just had they've had so many other things that there's a blueprint for this now. Like you have your
Right.
Halloweens and your Candymans and stuff where
Right.
they realize, lean into it but don't go crazy, and I think they
Right.
might be able to find something good, but we'll see.
Yeah, man. So I've got to those. Struggling through that. What else did I get to? Got through some more of Atlanta. That's Donald Glover's show. Finishing up season 1 on that. And I got to something else. I can't think of what it was though. It's so hard to pull some of this stuff. Might have been Pineapple Express.
Heyo.
Yeah, that might have been Pineapple Express, and that was just like a late like Wednesday night or something. Is bored. I was like, I just need something to put on.
I think it's on Netflix. It's one
the
that I see
bee's
constantly.
knees.
Yeah, I think it was something like that, and I was kind of like, oh shit, and then I ended up putting it on, and that's still funny. to
So
this
good.
day. So yeah, that's all I got to though. What about you guys?
Adam, I think you're the
Uh,
last one here.
Yeah, we'll start off with the last film movie I watched for this semester. Very sad day. But we watched Donnie Darko. which was
Oh
my
yeah, you did
first-
say that last time.
Yeah,
Was that your
my
first
first
watch?
viewing. Yeah, by my first viewing, it was
Yeah.
wild. What a wild.
What'd you
movie.
think? Jake Gyllenhaal
Uh,
is my favorite actor, man. So that's
Yeah,
I love that
he's
movie.
great in it. That's really young Jake Gyllenhaal too.
Yeah,
and
dude.
I watched it with my girlfriend, and we were both just like, "Wow, we cannot believe how young he looks in this movie."
Yeah, for sure.
Is that
But
his
it's really
debut?
good. What'd you say?
I think that might be his debut film.
I mean, it could. That movie's what? That's got to be
think-
what 96 or something like that.
It's 2001, I think.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it his? I think it's very early on. If it's
Yeah,
not.
it's got to be,
I
first
think it might
couple.
be his breakout role. Yeah, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movies before
all right, fair
Donnie
enough.
Darko. So I don't think it's not his first, but it's definitely his breakout role. Is from what it seems like. But yeah, dude, what a wild movie. I looked up multiple like explanations of like a video or two on YouTube and then an article online, trying to have it explained to me, because watching it you don't really get everything off the bat, and I don't necessarily know how I feel about that, because part of me is like, I really think that the story should be complete within itself, and I shouldn't have to go look things up, or I shouldn't have to go to the website. But part of me is like, tip of the hat to the creators to create a story that's so enrapturing and really wants to make you think about it and know what's going on, to make you go and look something up like that after the movie's over. Because I think a lot of people kind of have that experience from what I saw online. So I'm kind of back and forth on that. But overall, I did really enjoy it. It's a really cool movie, cool concept and everything. A little scary, that rabbit man, Frank the Rabbit, kind of creepy.
Yeah. That's a good movie, dude. It took me a few watches to kind of understand it. To be honest with you, I still don't even really understand that movie.
After
'cause it has-
reading the explained and watching the YouTube video, I think I have a pretty good grasp of what's
Right,
going on.
I had to do some of that too, because I know it involves a lot with like time travel and like alternate
Yeah.
realities.
Alternate
It's
universes.
good though, man. Yeah,
It is good. It is good. Because you really have no idea what's going on. The random shit happens from the very start of the movie, and it
Yeah.
keeps going throughout. But overall, I did really, really like it.
Yeah. Who's the director on that?
It's I have the IMDb up right here.
Let's see, what else has he done?
Something
Richard
Kelly. Yeah,
Yeah.
he
Let me
has
see.
done a lot. Directing credits.
Hmm.
Donnie Darko is the only thing I've heard of
Yeah.
his, and writing credits.
Surprising.
Last thing he wrote was The Box in 2009, but he doesn't really.
The Box. It's with
Yeah.
Frank Langella and Cameron Diaz.
Okay, so you're
Oh.
familiar with that, Nathaniel?
Yeah, it's I
Is
just
it
remember. No.
I was just curious because he's got a hit with Donnie Darko. So I just
No,
wanted to
yeah,
see
it's really dumb. It's like if you go, the guy shows up at your door and he's got a box in it, and if you press the button in the box, you will receive $7 million, but someone somewhere will die. And
I remember. I vaguely remember this.
you remember that
seeing a
trailer?
or
Yeah, I
something.
just remember. I don't know if I just saw that trailer 8 million times, and that's why I remember it so much, or if it was that much of an impact. But I do remember the box.
What an interesting concept.
Terrible concept.
It's real bad.
But yeah, Donnie Darko was good. I also got to and finished Demon Slayer, as I mentioned earlier.
Did you watch the movie
I don't
too?
Remember? Haven't watched the movie yet.
Got
I
it.
have the link, or at least had the link. I might have to
Allegedly.
find it again to watch. I allegedly have a link. Honestly, I kind of want to go see it in theaters. I might wait
sure.
until I get back home and see if there's a theater nearby that I can go see that, because I know I would have to drive pretty far to go see it here. But I do plan on watching the movie. I'm very excited to see it. But the first season was great. Once you get to the like forest part of it, like that little arc, that story stretch is just incredible. Like it gets like I was hooked in the first 2 or 3 episodes, and then it goes to like another 3 or 4 episodes after that, and it just keeps getting better and better. And I was like, oh my goodness. I can definitely see why it's got the hype behind it that it does at this point. The story is still pretty simplistic, and I don't mind it at this point, because I do like, you know, deep story, deep details of the story, or of the world and everything like that. And this doesn't have that necessarily, but it's still really good. The enemies that they have, the monster of the week kind of thing that they've got going on, I think is really, really cool, because each of them are really unique. And the animation is just incredible. How they mix in that like regular anime style with those like serene, the water. I don't even know how to describe it,
Right.
Unless you really unless you really see it. But they mix in this like water effect that looks like it's just art, but it's animated, and then so they mix that in with the like regular Japanese anime style. I don't know how they do it, or even like I said, how to describe it, but it looks incredible. And so I'm excited to see this movie, because I've heard the movie looks incredible, and I'm even more excited for season 2, because now that they've gotten, because that first half of the season was a little bit slow. Now that they've gotten all that stuff out of the way, I just can't wait to see how bonkers this show goes in the upcoming seasons.
Yeah, if they follow like the manga, it's gonna get real wild.
Yeah, I've considered starting to read the manga. My friend sent me a link to that as well.
Definitely.
Have you read through it, Nathaniel?
I was reading a certain amount of it, and then I actually stopped because I liked the animation more.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that'll do it sometimes.
I just think the story goes crazy, and like it's definitely interesting, but I just there's something about it that it didn't quite connect with me as much as some of the other ones I've read or watched have. So but I loved the animation style of it, so I think I'll continue watching it. But it's one I can just kind of keep on the back burner for anime, which is cool for me, because I read a lot of them, and if I burn through them too quickly, then it sucks. But
Yeah.
What else did you get to?
The last thing I got to was Invincible. Have you guys
Oh,
seen
I
this yet?
really want to check that out, but I want to
Yeah.
watch it with
I have
someone.
not.
This is the animated
Yeah,
show, right?
Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna
This
love
is
it.
the-
A lot of people said it
yeah,
was like
you're
The
gonna love it,
Boys.
Ty.
it's better.
It's a
I
lot
like
like The Boys.
I like the story of Invincible, the comics, better than I like the story
Sure.
of The Boys.
Yeah, it's definitely something that I heard a lot about, especially with like Ryan, Robin, Justin being at the
Yeah.
house. We definitely talked about it, and I kind of basically tuned them out the whole time. So nothing was really spoiled for me. Definitely something I want to get around to.
Good.
But I
Good.
was watching The Bad Batch while they were watching this, apparently. So
Sure.
isn't there another new one that just came out on Netflix that a lot of people have been talking about?
Jupiter's Legacy.
That's the one.
Yeah, it's the Mark Miller one.
Not as good. Good.
I just don't like Mark Miller's writing as much.
Sure.
The
The animation didn't look like it was very good.
Oh, that one's live action.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying though.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the CGI, just obviously
Yeah,
they're on
it's
a budget,
Netflix.
but
Yeah.
so I guess I'll check both of them out.
What did you think of Invincible?
Incredible. I burned through this. my buddy showed me the first episode on like Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't watch any Friday, but then yesterday he came back over and I put it back on, and we just burned through 7 episodes.
Yeah.
Nice. Half hour?
It was
An hour. Like
Oh, really?
45,
45.
Holy
45 minutes
shit.
apiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're that good. Each episode just leaves me wanting more and wanting to know what happens again. And once you watch the first episode,
Yeah. Ends on that cliffhanger, huh?
that one of the craziest cliffhangers I've ever seen. And you'll be hooked immediately, and you'll probably end up doing the
Yeah.
same thing that I did, and just binge the whole season rather quickly, because it's one of those shows where like I said, once you see that first episode, you're gonna be hooked.
So if you listeners don't know Invincible, it's written by Robert Kirkman, who also wrote The Walking Dead, which most people would obviously know him for. But it's basically Superman's son turns like 16 to 17 and is starting to get his powers. And like your Superman would be Omni-Man, and there's like a Justice League version of it, and it's more about his son Invincible as he's kind of growing up. And then it goes absolutely insane.
Bad shit crazy. Cool.
Bad shit. Yeah.
I'm down.
I've read the comics up until like the last. I haven't finished them.
I was talking to my friends today, and I was like, I need to go buy these comics. And I
Yeah.
was even looking on Amazon.
They're the first
there's 4
ones.
compendiums.
Yeah, they're the first kind of comic series that got me like straight addicted to it. Like I was buying volumes a day, kind of thing, to burn through it. I'll be very interested to see if they go the route the comics do. But from everything I've heard from the show, it's good. I haven't seen the show yet, but
to make any viewers or even Ty, if you're hesitant about this, want to go watch this, the voice
cast is incredible.
Yeah. So
I am not hesitant, by the way. I think I'm just gonna watch it.
Cool. Good. Just making sure. But the lead, Superman's son, is Stephen Yeun. From The Walking Dead, and from Minari, who just got nominated for an Oscar. And then there's Sandra Oh from
Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy. Thank you. I recognized her face, but I just couldn't place the show. J.K. Simmons, he plays Omni-Man, so Superman basically.
And Whiplash.
Then there's
Whiplash's own J.K. Simmons.
and Whiplash. Yeah. Zachary Quinto, Jason.
Oh, your
Mantzoukas.
favorite actor.
Yeah, my favorite. Eli Roth. No, I'm just kidding. Mark Hamill, Mahershala Ali, John Hamm, Seth Rogen. There's a few more, I think, too. But like really, really incredible voice acting cast, and you'll know even from the first episode that like I said, you're just gonna be hooked. Please, if you have access, this is on Amazon Prime, so if you have access to Amazon Prime Video, go watch this. At least watch the first episode, because I think once you see that, you're gonna be hooked. And the rest of the season's great. Don't just think it's the first episode. The whole season's incredible. I like I said, saw the first episode and then couldn't stop watching it. I watched all 7 yesterday.
Bet.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd love to talk
Did you
more
say
about that
bet?
when you watch it. Tom.
Bet.
You're 30.
You're
Well, that's all I had for my what we're watching. Let's get into the main review segment here. This week's review, The Notebook. Getting a little sappy here, boys. Nathaniel, if the listener here is new, or maybe they have just forgotten, could you give them a rundown of our review segment here at Back Row Banter?
Tell them.
I will.
Tell them now.
I will.
Hurry.
After this. Thank you for a word from our sponsors.
After the short message.
Just kidding. If you have or have not ever listened to Back Row Banter before, the way our main segment review works like this is was that English? The way our main review segment works is like this.
Those words were English. The sentence was not.
There we go. Wrong order. Right words.
Okay.
It's in 2 sections. There's the non-spoiler section, and then there's the spoiler section. In the non-spoiler section, we kind of introduce the movie, go over its IMDb page, give you its little summary on there, and we kind of talk our first reactions, and what our initial thoughts were on the movie. Ideally, none of us have seen it before, or if we're visiting a new or an old friend, we can talk about maybe we were thinking the first time. But then we'll basically go up to any big spoiler points, won't cross that line, we'll let you know, and then from then on out, it's going to be spoiler territory. We'll give our deeper thoughts on it, go deeper into the plot, anything like that. See if anyone has any crazy opinions. Who knows? Maybe someone just, hates The Notebook. We'll find out. But after that, we kind of give our full thoughts on the movie, bring that time to a close, welcome on everyone back in, and see where this thing ranks on our Entropy list, which is our big list of every movie we've watched on the podcast so far.
Big list.
Big list. But that being said, Adam, do you want to introduce The Notebook a little bit?
Sure. This is The Notebook. This is from 2004, directed by Nick Cassavetes.
Mhm.
Who? What else has he done? Let's see.
He's directed a couple things. He's the son of John Cassavetes, who is also a director.
Okay. Gotcha.
Must be
but
nice. Family
featuring-
business.
Starring.
Ryan
I'm
Gosling.
lost here. Ryan Gosling. Sorry, I was on the page, but I was looking at the wrong thing. Starring Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams as the two lead roles there. Anyone else I'm missing there, Nathaniel?
Well, Gina Rowland is actually Nick Cassavetes' mother. So that is his actual mom playing the character of the older lady. And then
Yeah.
James Garner plays Duke, and that's kind of it for the most part. There's a couple other actors
Yeah, I would
in
say.
there.
What's his face? We are forgetting.
James Marsden
James
of
Marsden,
Sonic fame himself,
Yeah.
and otherwise known as Cyclops. Also appears on Westworld. All around good actor James Marsden. Should be in more things, James Marsden.
Yeah, I would agree. So the IMDb summary reads as follows. A poor yet passionate young man falls in love with a rich young woman, giving her a sense of freedom, but they are soon separated because of their social differences.
Wow.
That's like half the movie. That's
the
very
romance
basic, I
storyline,
guess.
right?
Yeah, I guess. That's a meh rating. That's
I think-
somewhere in the middle of the pack, I guess.
Did we talk about you starting your own Entropy list of the IMDb summary reviews?
I'm gonna have to.
We did.
I'd love to do that, but I'm gonna have to go back and then re-find all of the Entropy list reviews
True.
and rank them.
We're just gonna keep giving you lists. There's gonna be the subjective movie list, the subjective new to streaming list, the Entropy list, and the Entropy list of reviews or summaries.
There we go. The keeper of lists. I feel like a lot of people have seen this. You've probably seen The Notebook, right?
If you're listening to this and you're our age, you've probably seen The Notebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
But if you-
Nathaniel, is there any plot points you want to sum up here really quick, or anything the IMDb summary is missing?
It's basically boy meets girl. They fall in love. They break up. Some things happen. Yada yada yada. But the main part of this movie is it kind of takes that story and reorients how you're viewing it, right? And then it kind of uses that as a plot summary. I don't know if we'll save that for spoilers. Do you think we have to at this point?
I think if we're gonna do spoiler free, we might as well keep it completely
All
spoiler free.
right, we will be completely spoiler
free
free
area.
on this guy here.
Yeah.
That being said, that's pretty much the storyline up to a certain point. You start out the story with two characters, Duke and I forget what the actual one they have on that version of it is, but two older folks that are in an older folks home, and the gentleman Duke is reading to his lady a lovely story about two folks falling in love. And so we kind of get the classic narrator version of a storybook, almost like the Once Upon a Time style, and which has been used in film often and to great success. And I think sets this movie in a nice little Once Upon a Time mode. It hits all those syrupy sweet bits, but it does it well, kind of thing.
I would agree. I think that's one of the things. The way that it uses that narration is one of the things that kind of sets it apart from other romances. I think it really. I don't know why, but I think it does really, really work in this movie.
This is obviously not the first time for all four of us. Do you remember your first time watching this movie? Because this was like the classic date movie of our generation, I feel like.
I can't say that I recall.
Yeah.
I don't think I remember the first time I've seen it. I know I've seen it before, but it's definitely been some time. But I couldn't pinpoint like, hey, I remember seeing it with this person.
Sure.
Or something of this nature. What about you guys?
I think I saw it in theaters or on a date or something like that too. But this was the second time I've seen it, and it's been since that first time, which must have
really?
been 2004,
Me
2005,
too.
something like that.
Wow.
I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, we're getting old.
It took me a while to get around to this one. I think my first watch was like winter. It actually might have been like January or February of 2020.
Okay,
something
so
like that.
a recent
So
watch.
pretty
for you.
recently, yeah, very recently, and then I've rewatched it once since then, I think. But yeah, I really like this movie. I'll
Good.
go ahead and say it. I'm not ashamed. I think I mentioned last week how this felt like a joke for a long time in like sitcoms and stuff that like, oh, guys like The Notebook or guys should like The Notebook or whatever, and girls do. But I have no shame in saying that I really like this movie. I think it's really good.
Tyler?
Yeah, man, I like this movie. Anybody that knows me knows that I'm somewhat of a hopeless romantic.
You big softy.
Yeah, man, I love, you know.
I'm a big fan of love.
Yeah. So yeah, it's great, man. I like the way that it's written. Obviously we got some heavy hitter names in there as far as acting goes. It's shot really well. There's a lot of good scenes. It really kind of takes you to that like little town that nobody knows about unless you're from there.
Sure.
But yeah, it's a great romance story. Your first viewing might take you a little bit to pick up on like, you know, what's going on, but
Sure.
Usually it's pretty easy to grasp for most people, and I think it's really shot and written in that particular area.
Yeah.
And it progresses itself, and it really kind of wraps everything up with a nice pretty little bow, a sad bow. Yeah, so I'm all in. I'm definitely not ashamed to say that I like a sappy movie. I'm a 30-year-old man. And I'm totally okay with it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's Blake, you go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll follow up because you might have more thoughts on it than I do. I like it. Like I said, first time I saw it in I would say easily 10 plus years. I do really like the narrator aspect they have on that. I think that fits well for movies of this genre. But I mean, as you guys know, I mean, it's probably not necessarily my favorite genre, so I'm not too knowledgeable of other things that this could even compare to, rather at that time period or this time period or 2015s, right? But I know what it brings to the genre because, as Nathaniel said, I mean, this is one of those movies that I just remember everybody of me growing up in middle school and high school and stuff like these are people's like, this is you would meet people and be like, this is like my favorite romantic movie, or my
Right.
favorite romance. It'd be this. So
Yeah,
Nathaniel?
I feel like a lot of this movie's ire, or what people think of it as a joke movie or something, mostly came similar to Saw. Actually, mostly came out the things that it spawned and like the imitators that came after it, where they just took kind of any Nicholas Sparks novel and threw it up on and put like whatever dreamy teens they had around at the time, whether it was Channing Tatum or Amanda Seyfried or whatever, or Miley Cyrus or something, and threw it up on screen and just called it good. But this one's definitely the one that's, I feel like, treated the most. It treats its audience the best out of all of those movies.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways, it allows you to figure stuff out. It allows you to grow and move along with the characters. You understand why everyone is feeling the way they're feeling. You understand why the tension is there, and the fact that it's not really anybody's fault. It's not something that can just be solved with a Post-it note on the fridge. Hey, sorry, I said a mean thing to you or something like that. That, you know, romantic comedies I feel like so often are, but or just romances in general, I guess. Tyler brought up a great point earlier. I feel like for the greatest thing this movie has going for it is the strength of its actors, in particular the kind of four main actors that they have going in there. They all kind of understand what movie they're in, and they all understand what the purpose is as well, too. So I think everyone kind of gets a good grounded bit to work on there as well. So yeah, I don't have much else to say beyond spoilers. I think at this point it is a good movie. I don't think it's a particularly incredible movie. It doesn't break the genre for me. In some ways it is,
Sure,
but it's a really good example of this style of story. in particular this kind of story that we may have come across before in kind of the star-crossed lovers, genre. But yeah, overall positive.
Yeah.
Give it a watch.
Nathaniel, you the other night you posed a question in our group chat of how poorly we thought this might age. Where did you land on that? Do you think it aged poorly? Do you think it aged
question.
appropriately?
Yeah, I mean, there's things about it that I find that age poorly. Like the Ryan Gosling in the start of this movie is pretty relentless in terms of pursuing Allie. And there's a couple things that I guess in today's environment could be conceived as kind of not necessarily the most, forward thinking, but if it's a movie set in the 40s, so what are you going to do at that point, right? And the movie's smart enough to not really doesn't really let its characters off the hook too much. Most people are kind of called out if they're being a prick or something like that, or if they're being something like a little bit gaslighty, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah. But yeah, it's I think overall it's aged pretty well. In general, I really like the way it's lit. Going forward now, it has that kind of. There was and it may just because it's still on film, but there's a sumptuousness to it. It feels meaty in the way that a movie's in kind of the 90s and the turn of the century used to, and now things feel a little bit more sterile to me now. But that could be anything, that just could be an old man shouting at clouds too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but overall I liked it. Overall positive. Overall, I think it's aged well. Would
Recommends
recommend.
across the board?
I think so.
Yeah, definitely recommend.
We need to come up with something more controversial than just recommends across the board, or watch more controversial movies, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna not recommend it just because I want to be controversial. I do really like
No, I agree.
Yeah.
I think we've done a good job to be.
There's no nuance on the internet.
That's right, and we've stayed true to that the entire time. 51 episodes in and counting, boys.
Shout out Nathaniel. I think you repped that one. Was that the first episode when you said there's no nuance on the internet, and we've ran with it since then?
Yeah, it's probably I think so. All right, well, I think that's it for the non-spoiler segment here. That's gonna be a recommend all around. If you haven't seen The Notebook and don't want it spoiled for you, go ahead and check the episode description where I'll leave you the timestamp to jump to, where we rank it up upon the entropy list.
Hop upon.
I'm gonna play the spoiler noise.
Spoilers.
Uh-oh.
Shit goes down.
Shit goes down.
And then back up, and then
Down.
slightly back down, and then
Then
a little up, and then
Down,
way down.
Man.
So the old people are the young people.
Whoa.
Who saw that coming?
Yeah, I mean, I almost forgot that, but then once I started watching it again, I was like, oh, they're definitely them.
Right?
If that made any sense, and I put that together within the first the second time they went back.
I don't understand the point of it.
If that makes sense.
Like it's one of those it's a loop to loop twist. It's not a corkscrew twist in my point of view, because I feel like the beauty of this movie is the love story that's being told as they kind of rail against time, and it becomes this kind of bittersweet thing, and that's what gets me to buy in on this story otherwise. And I'm not sure you need that. I'm not sure you need to hide that, is I guess my point of view from the viewer, when you could just stay at the start that he's telling the story and that kind of thing. And I think it actually works up until the children come. And because even Waz, who was just kind of in and out on the movie as we were walking by, he was like, well, wait, those are her children, but they just told her that they're his. And I was like, well, I think it's because they're like trying not to trigger her, basically.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I got too.
But I
had the same exact thought.
Yeah, at the same time, like I'm not sure that at that point is functioning for the plot anymore. If it's just functioning to keep the viewer, quote unquote, in the dark kind of ways. Mm-hmm. But I mean that's a minor thing overall. I think the story they tell is beautiful, man. It's really nice. It's that hope we all have that our memories and loved ones are so powerful that they will bring us back through a miracle kind of thing. So everyone wants that, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know who doesn't.
Sorry to just ruin it.
No, I don't think this movie will ever be ruined for me. I think it's just it's really special. Yeah, I don't actually, like I said, I don't remember the first time I saw it, but I remember liking it back then, and it's definitely carried through. And now that I've found somebody that I want to spend the rest of my life with, it's kind of hit home a little bit more, and I got to watch it with her, which was a little bit more special. And she's an emotional individual. She's very in tune with her emotions, and so it was cute. It was probably one of the better watchings I had, with just her and I kind of laying on the couch. And
You mean not with me over on the other side of the couch?
well, it'd probably be a little weird, in this particular setting. But yeah, it was great. I think it tells a really good story. I love the fact that he's basically telling the story that he wrote. So this is coming directly from,
She wrote it.
sorry, from their direct perspective, and he gets to tell it to her day over and day over and day over, and you kind of get like a 50 First Dates kind of vibe.
Sure.
Because he's basically gotta tell her that he loves her every single day, and he doesn't really give up, and that's kind of his character from the beginning. He's very persistent and wanting to date her to begin with, and he's very persistent in the facts, even with his kids. Like, they just want to leave her there,
Right.
and he's like,
We'll take shifts.
yep, and he's like, that's my life in there, man. Like, that's, you guys are my children, and I care about you and everything like that, but like, that's, you wouldn't be here without her.
Right.
And I think that's how most marriages should work. Like, you should obviously love your kids and everything, but you wouldn't have your kids or anything without your significant other. And it also, shows you a lot of things, that like relationships are a lot of work. It's not just going to be easy. Like, you're probably going to fight. You're probably going to argue. And that's the whole point. You got to get through it together, and you got to be a team. And I mean, he kills the game. Kills the game. He ruined a lot of relationships.
Sure did.
For a lot of kids in the 2000s. Why didn't you write me 365 fucking letters? Well,
I had a girlfriend that actually asked me that one time. True story.
Oh,
wow.
way.
Not
though?
that like setup, but there was definitely there was a notebook hangover that occurred from the years of about 07 to maybe later than we'd like to admit, folks. But yeah, it's a good one, man. It's not bad.
What'd you guys think?
It's a great one. Blake, you want to go?
Yeah, man. I like it. Like I said, it was good on second watch. Still kind of holds up well. Like Nathaniel said, I mean, it's definitely a loop-de-loop twist and not a corkscrew twist. But I mean, I don't know. Is anybody really going into romances looking for?
Right.
Like,
I think that's the point. It's not a twist. It doesn't live or die on the twist, which is what makes it a little bit weirder to me, I guess, in some ways too. That it goes with that,
sure.
but it works.
Yeah, right. So I mean, I'm fine with that. I would say, I mean, I don't even know the last time or maybe it's just not my genre. But like, do they still make movies like this? I mean, do any of you guys kind of know that? I feel like this might be kind of a dying genre, or
I think this is
teen romances nowadays.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's why I think
a lot of
more
things have
They're getting a
developed
little bit
into
younger.
TV shows.
Yeah.
You get a lot more TV shows that are a little bit more like dramatic, or considered more of a romance. I think you saw some movies. You don't really see like a whole lot. A lot of them are also probably like Hallmark, or like a lot of streaming services are picking them up to be originals and stuff like that. So
I feel like this one too was so iconic that like you almost you have to leave this storyline alone for a few years before you could kind of go back into
decades.
it again. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I imagine the romance will make a comeback again, but it might be something in the form of like something like Your Name or something, or it'll just be a different kind of spin on it and everything. The next iconic romance we'll get.
I mean, maybe I'm drawing this comparison because of Ryan Gosling, but I think like something like La La Land, you could draw a comparison to.
Okay.
Sure.
More of a recent kind of romance, or maybe like A Star Is Born. Those aren't
those like musicals though?
Yeah,
They
they're
are.
kind of musicals, but
Yeah.
I think it still kind of fits. I mean, you still have the same concept of two younger people falling in love, and then it's their kind of relationship. There may be a little bit of a falling out or something like that. I think that's probably the closest you have in recent years to maybe something like this.
I like to
if you agree with
imagine
that, Nathaniel.
that this and Dr. Sleep take place in the same universe.
Oh God.
Could you imagine if they
Like
did?
this is the hospital that
Yeah,
he's working in.
you just see Obi-Wan, just as Obi-Wan Kenobi in the background.
I wonder how they would even tie that in together if they could.
I think it's
Do you
clear.
think maybe as they're dating, they visit the Overlook Hotel? I mean,
There you
that's
go.
one
Yeah.
possible.
Maybe
They honeymoon
maybe
there.
Yeah, right.
Twisted
That's one
knots or
possible.
whatever. They run into them.
Yeah, the True Knot is obviously
True
looking
Knots.
Yeah,
after
yeah.
them.
Maybe they're on
Knots.
their honeymoon and
Yeah.
the True Knots run into them.
Oh man. Maybe James Marsden is a true knot.
Could be. Could be.
I personally really like this movie. For me, I think what works for it a lot is having them be older and you see where they end up,
Yes.
because then
I
you
think
start to
that's-
see
Yeah, for sure.
yeah you start to see the level of dedication, the level of love that they have for each other, especially what's Ryan Gosling's character's name? I already forgot it.
Noah.
Sorry, Noah. Especially
Your roommate.
oh man, let's not get into this right now. I knew exactly when I said that. But yeah, you see the level of dedication and love that Noah has for Rachel McAdams' character, and so when you see that in the future or the older selves, you really understand how much he misses her and cares about her in the older story or previous story, the younger story, I guess I could say. And I think that's kind of what really makes it work is you see the end result and you see them falling in love, and so they kind of reinforce each other, and then you get a really good sense of the relationship and how much they actually love each other, which is I think it just works so well.
Yeah, I feel like the you always look for a movie's its insight. What is it doing that sets it apart from everything else, that moves it above just a collection of images that are back set up back to back to each other. And this one, I think it really is that moment of or that human feeling we have of wanting to battle against time, kind of similar to Dunkirk in Last Week in a lot of ways too.
Sure.
Mhm.
In that you want to count all the moments you have, and you're trying to get them back and trying to fight against this kind of the one thing that's going to get to all of us no matter what. And that's just that for a romance movie is obviously a heady topic to take on, and I think it does a pretty admirable job of it there, using the genre to explore the idea past more limits above just the limits of genre. So that I think is this big success. How do you feel about the actors young to old? Because I feel like I can see Rachel McAdams in Gina Rowlands in the older Allie character, but I have a tougher time with the Gosling into the James Garner transition, and I feel like
I would agree.
Yeah.
100%. It kind of took me out of it a little bit, even during this watching, where I was looking at James Garner and I was like, man, this looks nothing like Ryan Gosling older. Like, and I can't expect them to get it
perfectly, sure.
Perfectly, and no one should expect that. But you could have done a little bit better job. I don't know. It just took me out of it because of how different it was. But that's just a small thing.
And I wonder too if it wouldn't be as aggressive if he wasn't introduced like he was a different character. Even though you do go back against it, obviously, and that gets flipped on you pretty quickly, and you kind of understand it. I just wonder if there's just a little bit in your brain that doesn't want to let go of that in some ways.
Yeah, I guess that never really bothered me. I think it was always just more of a personality thing for me. Like you could see that they were very similar in personality ways versus just look ways. Age is a weird thing, man. I mean, you never know what you're going to come out looking like on the other side. So yeah, I guess that never really threw me off. But I mean, this is devastating.
Yeah, it's an emotional ending. It's in our watch it where it's going in the background. Listeners, if for first time listeners, whenever we review a movie, we have it running in the background as well. So we're in the spoiler section. We're getting to the end of the movie here, and
they die together.
They're passing on.
It's very, very, very beautiful to know that they pass together in the exact same moment as they sleep, and it just goes to show that there are people that there are people that live for other people.
Sure.
And there are people that honestly think that they're put on this earth to make a significant other happy, and that's what they live for. And they were both getting ready to go. They were older, and so they decided to go together.
Yeah.
and that's how they decided to go. And it was really beautiful. It's a really cute way to kind of wrap it up. Obviously, death is depressing, and it's sad, but when you get to do it with the person that you wanted to spend your rest of your life with, then it's good.
I think what adds on to the ending and what makes it so effective is something that Nathaniel keeps alluding to, the fact that like the part of the movie is how much we're trying to salvage the time we have with like other people and the people we care about. And I don't know if it would have been as effective if Rachel McAdams' character, if Allie didn't have like Alzheimer's or dementia or anything like that. Because I think part of it was like the relief, because it was hard at points to watch and see the Alzheimer's. Because I don't know if you guys have ever had that affect your life, but it can be tough. It is tough. And so when you see that, it's really hard to watch, especially when you saw where she started, like in her younger life, how excitement she was and how spontaneous she was. And you even when she comes back for like that 5 minutes, you even see that where she's like, let's just get a car, let's just go on a ride. And then it's nice to know that you have some closure with it, that she's no longer kind of suffering like that in that way, and where she's no longer having to lose herself over and over, and he's no longer having to lose her over and over again, and that they go together. I think the fact that she had the Alzheimer's is what made that ending so sweet, or at least I think added to it. If she didn't, and maybe she was just older or whatever, obviously it'd be a different story. She'd have Alzheimer's and he's telling her this story again, but still I think
Right.
but that's part of why it makes the ending so effective.
No, I agree with you, Adam. Sorry, we're having technical difficulties over here. There's a ghost is moving the remote. So, Tyler, I'm gonna have you step in and try and finish this one off, or at least help us out here.
Yeah, it's all just really well put together. I'm a big fan. I always will be. So
Yeah, me too. All right. Well, I don't know if there's much more
Shout
to
out
be.
Ryan Gosling. Is that
Yeah,
the first
shout out
Ryan
Ryan
Gosling?
It's not. I had the same thought. It's pretty early on. I think this is more of his breakout role, similar to Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
But he did have some stuff before this.
I
He
don't
started.
think I can think of him in anything before that off the top of my head.
Yeah. Look, some TV shows. A lot of TV shows. He's in Remember the Titans apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't remember him in that, but
He's Gosling.
Mm-hmm.
He's he's like the tight end or something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
As soon as you said that, it made sense. It's just the first Ryan Gosling we have on the entry list.
Possibly.
Might
Should we welcome our viewers back to find out?
Yeah.
Or our listeners too.
Welcome
The viewers as well.
viewers. We'll have video one day, but today's not that day.
Fully
Welcome
get
back,
on it. That's how
listeners.
you can get ahead of Papa Schwartz.
Welcome back, listeners who decided to skip over the spoiler section of the podcast. We're going to go ahead and rank The Notebook up upon the Entropy list. For those of you who do not know, the Entropy list is Back Row Banter's official list of every movie we have reviewed, regardless of genre, regardless of anything else, all in one fantastic list. This is essentially our rating system. Instead of giving it a rating, we're going to toss them all up on a mixed bag of movies and see where they land. All right. Looking at this list, I think it might be the first Gosling movie.
I believe so.
See another one on here.
Kind of surprising.
I'm sure it will not be the last. All right. The Notebook.
All right.
Ty, the helpless romantic. Where is this landing for you?
Ooh.
Probably. Man, that's tough too. That's tough. I'm gonna say 29.
29. So below Die Hard, above Insidious.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might even
Any
put
thoughts
it
on
above
why
Die
there?
Hard.
Ooh.
Might even put it above Die Hard.
I don't know.
I mean, I'll
really
support
like
you
Die
there.
Hard. You know what? I'm gonna do a 28. I'm 28. It's above Die
28.
Hard.
All right. Above Die Hard, below Frozen.
Yep.
Another movie that has a soft spot for Ty.
Yep. I think that's just
All right.
why. I think
Back
that's
to back.
kind
Yeah.
of where it goes. It feels right in my heart on why it should be there. I don't really have an explanation.
Well, it's
why.
right next to Frozen too, which is obviously Leah's
Yeah.
favorite movie.
That's what Adam just basically said. It's a
Frozen,
soft spot for
Frozen
me. So
TOO, not next to Frozen 2.
Sorry for repeating over Adam. I was trying to determine where I was going to put it on the list, and I missed what you said there.
Oh, you're good. You're good. Where have you decided, Nathaniel?
Probably one underneath it, 29.
29? Okay. You don't think it doesn't beat Die Hard for you?
No.
welcome
No,
to
it
the party, pal.
Hans, Bubby. I mean, come on. Yeah, probably 29. Probably 29. Doesn't beat Your Name for me. Not even close. I mean, I'm looking at the
Oh,
romances. Y Tu Mama Tambien, not for me, much more interesting. Even Soul or the Frozens, I feel like, they got
That's
a
why I
little bit
kind of had
something
to
too.
drop it down there. Part of
Yeah.
me was gonna go like right in the like paid in full District 9
That's where I was
area.
originally thinking.
And then I started looking at like Frozen and Soul and Frozen 2 and
so
so yeah, I decided to drop it. a little bit.
Everybody know.
Yeah, so I think 29. I think I'm at 29.
29. Blake?
Okay. Yeah, I'm about in the same area. I'm a little below you guys. I actually got this.
It's below the
I'm gonna
descent.
put it at. Yeah, dude. I'm sorry. I'm actually gonna, and I actually like Blind Spotting more than this. Different genre.
That one. Blind Spotting was making a hard push for me.
I was
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
I mean
me
that's
too.
that's
That-
kind of why it took me so long because I was
Yeah.
kind of gonna get down
Yeah.
there and then I was like Descent and then I was like fucking Tenet.
Yeah, 10 fucks that up. You can get me to put it above Ma Rainey's. I think I'm actually gonna go in between Blind Spotting and Ma Rainey's, so that'd be 33.
33.
Yeah.
Man, I am like right in between all of you guys. It could really land between any of those spots, like 33 all the way up to like Soul at 24. I'm erring on the side of upper half of that range, kind of towards the top of like closer to Soul. I think I'm gonna have to slot it in at 25, right below Soul and right above Halloween 2018.
Okay.
I just think I remember I've seen it recently enough where I remember my first watch, and I remember because I'm very similar to Ty. Three of my top 4 favorite movies are like romances. Like I really like romance movies and am somewhat of a romantic at heart, of course. But yeah, I don't know, just this hits for me. I mean, it's not as good on the rewatch, but it's still I think really solid. So I think I'm gonna put it at 20. Man, actually, you know what? I'm gonna dock it down a few. I think I'll put it at 28 with Ty, actually, as I'm thinking
Okay.
about Halloween, Strangers, and Frozen. I'm like, man, those are solid.
Mhm.
So I'll go to 28 with Ty, right below Frozen, right above Die Hard.
So that probably
think-
slots it where?
All right, we had 22 at 28.
I'm at
Nathaniel, Where were
29.
you at? You were at 29, and then Blake was all the way down at
33.
33.
33. Yeah.
I think probably 30 is what'll split it.
Yeah. So man, I am at middle ground. Yeah. I'd
Middle
say
ground would be
that.
like 30.
I feel like
so-
we pull up Blake's choice like every week. Like the three of us are like always 2 to 3 episodes, 2 or 3 like ranks higher
Yeah.
than Blake, and
It's
Blake's
the Descent.
like, Blake's like, ah.
What the only thing that sucks about that is that I'm okay that if it's 30, it's one above the Descent.
Yeah.
That just kills me.
I'm just saying that's what throws you off.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
does,
like
man.
your
You know what? I
think we all
appreciate-
have
gatekeeper.
our movie
I
idol.
appreciate that Blake
That's a good
stands
answer.
so hard for his picks. You know what? He's got his
Yeah.
choices and he keeps them high.
I can't blame him for it. Are we good at 30?
Yeah. So 30 is what is that after Insidious?
30 is after Insidious, below
Yeah.
Tenet. Or sorry,
Above it, Tenet.
Yeah.
after Insidious, above Tenet.
Yeah, I'm cool with that.
Let's do
I'm
that.
cool with that too. I think that's a solid spot for it. It's all around a good movie. Nothing super special, but I think it's definitely a good watch.
I
Yes,
keep
sir.
a side note. I keep seeing this poster for Mortal Kombat. It's the one that they're using on Letterboxd, and
Yeah.
every time I see it in like the minimized form, it has the same outline as the new Pet Sematary poster with the cat on it.
Hilarious.
And like it throws my eye off
That's
every
so
time,
funny.
especially on the Entropy list. I was like, when did we watch Pet Cemetery?
Which one are you talking about, Nathaniel?
The
Mortal Kombat
the Mortal
movie
Kombat poster
Mortal
on
Kombat,
Letterboxd looks or Letterboxd looks like
It
if you
does-
look up
it does kind of look like a Pet Cemetery.
if you
just
look
'cause
up the
it's-
Pet
it's
Cemetery
white
one,
instead of
yes,
brown.
yes,
Yeah.
it's like it's almost the exact same shape.
I
yeah.
have no idea what you're referencing, so I'm gonna have to look this up. Pet Cemetery.
Did you?
Oh, I see it now. Yeah, I can definitely tell. Yeah, that looks very, very similar. Holy crap!
Did you? And I guess I don't really care if it was like your first viewing or this viewing. Did this movie make you cry at some point?
The first viewing, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Not
first viewing got me.
as much this one as I expected it to. And I think I don't know. It was just by the end of it, I was like, okay, yeah, I know where this goes. And
Yeah.
then, like obviously it ends on the thing. Maybe I didn't let myself feel it. I don't know.
Sure.
But I also thought there was a part of me that was like, surely you guys could have just. I don't know. It something didn't hit completely for me this time. I
Interesting.
think yeah. I think maybe just because it was the repeat viewing, it just didn't quite
Yeah.
nail it. But who knows?
All right.
I can't say though. Wait 17 years and you'll really enjoy it again.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we'll see you guys in 2038. Rewatch of The Notebook. All right. Well, The Notebook slotted in number 30, right below Insidious, right above Tenet.
Boom.
What's
Hop
next here
upon.
on the docket? Our next topic is going to be A Quiet Place.
Tenet. Oh yeah, Quiet Place.
Yeah.
Part
Tenet
one.
again.
Oh,
I'm not watching Tenet again.
I saw a really funny Tenet meme of what's his name? Is it John Washington?
John David Washington.
John David Washington. I almost said John B, but I've been thinking of Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah. Michael Jordan.
But I saw a really funny Tenet meme the other day, and I forgot what it was. It might have been something that had to do with Spider-Man, but it's the scene where he meets the villain's wife, like, and they're out to dinner.
Yeah,
And then
Elizabeth
he goes
Debicki.
into the
Yeah,
kitchen,
yeah.
right? And then like they have like the goons there to beat him up, and he's like, "I ordered my hot sauce an hour ago," and I forgot what it was. It had something to do with it might have been a movie release poster, and it was like, "I ordered my Spider-Man movie release like an hour ago," or something like that. I don't know. It was really funny though. And I was crying. I should have sent it to you guys.
That's fun.
We'll have to find it.
Yeah. Send it to
Well,
us
that thing's probably
privately.
long gone on the internet, dude. You don't save stuff. It's like finding a needle in a haystack.
That is true.
It's a very large haystack. All right. Next week, A Quiet Place. To give you guys a little peek at the show schedule, it's going to be A Quiet Place next week. The week after, Army of the Dead. That's the Zack Snyder Netflix movie. And then the week after that, A Quiet Place 2, because that will be releasing at the end of May. And so we'll be reviewing that. So this is kind of like a primer for that. Army of the
Bit
Dead
of
will split up
sizzle.
the two movies, but we want to get the first one on there before we see the second one anyway. So join us for A Quiet Place next week. That's streaming for free on Fubo. Fubo? Fuba? One
I
of
think
the
it's
three.
Paramount
I think
Plus.
Yeah. Yeah, Fubo. Streaming
Phoebo.
free there if you don't have access to it to other ways.
Furby?
5-star review. Nathaniel, you said you had one cooking.
We do have a 5-star review this week,
Hey.
boys.
First
Drum roll.
time in God knows how long.
This is the header on it is Brandon Wozni, but we know it is not the Brandon Wozni, not our Wozni. You can tell because it's spelled wrong.
Okay.
But it reads, it is from actually the Riot 95. So thank you, Riot 95. But here it is. It's a 5-star review. So obviously, those in the know. If you give us a 5-star review and whatever you write, I will read.
You will.
It can be good, can be bad, can be anything. But I will read it as long as it's 5 stars.
I've seen him do it.
It's got to be 5. So this week it could be a little bit more of the anything from what I'm reading so far. But it says, "I've made it, boys. I've finally found out Obama's last name. It's." And then then there's a quote, and it says, "Stop right there, criminal scum. You've committed crimes against Skyrim and her people. How do you plea?" So we will never know what Obama's last name is, I suppose.
Okay.
Is that a Skyrim reference?
Yeah, that's a Skyrim
Yeah.
reference.
Okay. I own Skyrim. It's always been too big of a game for me to like get into. I'm scared of it,
I love
to be
it.
honest. I loved Oblivion. I played too many hours of Oblivion, and that's
Yeah.
why I know.
I had a whole life in Skyrim. I had a house. It had trophies.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
have a wife?
I did.
Do you miss her?
I don't know if she's still alive.
Was this really when you were on your Sword Art Online shit too? So this was like you were in.
Not really.
Okay.
No.
I kind of wish you were.
Yeah, that'd be kind of weird.
I wish you had a second life.
Whoa. I pretty much did. I put hours into that thing.
Yeah.
Stupid hours. Like more than
You should
Assassin's
fire it
Creed.
up. I want to see what it's like. I picture you having a child in there.
Did you beat Assassin's Creed yet?
Yeah,
did,
I did.
yeah.
I did.
Okay. How was
Yeah.
that?
It was good. It was really good. It was it was a little repetitive sometimes,
Mm.
but that's like every game.
Sure.
But
Right.
yeah,
I-
I think it was great. They're gonna have DLC coming out soon, so it's not like something that's just ended.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm very excited to start Cyberpunk.
I played a video game this week. I played 2 hours of
Yo.
Resident Evil 8.
How was that?
Ooh, dude, I almost bought that, and I haven't bought a new game in a long time.
Yeah.
Is that just on? Is that
How is that, dude?
cross-platform? Can
I'm
I buy that on Xbox?
I don't know. Waz, can you buy it on
Pretty sure.
Xbox?
Yeah, we're getting the thumbs up.
We're getting thumbs up from the Waz.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's it looks really cool.
Maybe I'll
And-
pick that up because I was
Mhm.
watching. The only reason with it, we kind of talked about this because one of the YouTubers we watched was streaming this.
Right.
His name's Dustin Williams, and I watched him for probably about 45 minutes playing it, and I was like, oh, kind of.
Yeah, there's a big castle of vampires and werewolves, so like I'm kind of in
down.
on that. I've never played a Resident Evil game, so I'm gonna play it on like casual boy mode.
This
but
might be something I play on like the 75-inch.
yeah,
Get like a bean bag and
I-
just sit in front of the TV.
I can tell you, it looks really good on it looks really good on a nice TV.
Yeah.
So can't confirm, but
Yeah.
check.
I will be
Yeah,
I'll be
dude,
playing more
I'm
of it for
gonna,
sure.
I'm gonna have to look into that, dude.
Blake
I
would
knew it.
recommend.
Let me ask you this, Nathaniel. How are you able to? Have you played that at nighttime yet?
Yes, so that was the first we did. We
Okay.
played it at nighttime. It's kind of creepy.
Good. Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
it's
how to play horror games like that, though, man. That's,
Yeah.
that's
100%. Dude, I
obviously, I'm
remember
a huge
playing
horror
like
guy.
Doom
well the thing
in
is,
my basement.
That gets you so much more into
Bruh.
the game. Though.
yeah, the
That's-
thing is, man,
it's
it's
totally
the
different game when you do that.
and we have a crazy sound system in here too, so I'm like constantly
Mhm.
like trying to like yeah.
Yeah. No,
Uh,
I know. Trust me. Yeah, I played the Evil Within like that. I played the Outlast games like that. I played those with like headphones on, like at nighttime.
yeah, it's a different vibe.
It's crazy, yeah, bro. I
Yeah.
think that's how the game's meant to be played, though. To be honest,
I think,
it's like,
yeah.
if you're gonna play it, play it.
I'm basically like almost immune in a lot of ways to horror movies now, but horror games, it's that thing that you have to participate, like no matter
Yeah,
what.
it's tough. Yeah, for sure.
The only progress is participating. You can't like close your eyes or
No,
look away
man,
for a
no.
second.
Right.
You have to live through the entire. You have to play through the entirety of the scares.
But yeah, so if you want us to
Just gotta
talk
get
about
around
your 5-star review, you can go ahead and give us a 5-star review, and then we'll say whatever you want, and then maybe you'll get a cool and interesting discussion like this one.
There you go.
Facts.
I don't know what other incentive you need.
Who would?
Well, please share the podcast. Share with a friend, a family member, maybe a loved one.
Soulmate.
Find,
Significant other.
Right,
Whatever
365
terms you guys want to use.
Yeah.
copies of our URL, and maybe pass them out to your sweetie.
Yeah. Fair enough. You can follow us on Twitter at Banter Row, on Instagram at Back Row Banter Pod. On YouTube is just Back Row Banter, and then our email for any questions, comments, concerns, grievances, or anything of the sort is backrowbanterpod@gmail.com. BlakeHolder, where can the people find you at, my man?
Letterboxd. I'll be on there, logging stuff every once in a while. I actually think Foley followed me on there recently. Shout out
Hey.
him.
Ah,
And he followed me on Instagram, so shout out to him 2 times.
Nice.
out Foley.
Yeah, so I'll be on there every once in a while. I mean, it's hard, like we said the other day, to get on there and find it easier when it's a movie like you really, really like, and that way you can like even release your thoughts on it. So I feel like that's kind of the times I go on there and kind of start putting some stuff down. But yeah, that BlakeHolder, Instagram, Mr. Water Cooler. That's my PlayStation and my Xbox name as well. So if you play Siege or Mortal Kombat, let me know. We'll go from there.
Who's going next?
You can go, Nathaniel.
I'll go next. You can find me on Twitter and Letterboxd at @NSGingrich. Excuse me. You can find me on Instagram at NathanielG92. You can check out my other podcast. It's called the Sandpiper Tapes. It's a bunch of spooky stuff. You can read that. You can find that at the Sandpiper Tapes, where all good podcasts are sold. Follow me on Twitter under that handle as well as Instagram too. I keep saying more stuff's coming out. Now that my life has calmed down quite a bit over the last kind of few weeks, this has been my last really busy week now, so I'm hoping to get back into doing a little bit more writing. Might be able to have a little bit more of an online presence, though I don't know if I'm starring as the head ace of a baseball team now. I may have to rearrange some things too, but we'll find out, folks. But yeah, come check it out. Come hang out. We'll talk. Tyler, where can the people find you?
Hey, people. You can find me on Twitch every now and then.
Every now and then.
Probably, hopefully, going to get something going this week, maybe.
You said, I was listening back to the episode last week, you said you were going to.
Yeah, so I got to get everything kind of finalized and like where I want my camera placement and everything like that.
I've got a preview of the setup, folks. It looks sexy.
Yeah, I'm excited, and hopefully a couple more things to come. So
sure.
I've already done a little bit more, so we'll see. But yeah, I do stream. That's twitch.tv/Eltrabajo, ELTRABAJO 87. And you can also find me on Instagram, Letterboxd, and Twitter at Tyler Vidalis, VIDALES. Adam.
You can find me on Twitter at H24, on Letterboxd at H, and on Twitch, of course, at twitch.tv/H. Very similar to Tyler. I do plan on coming back and streaming once again. Hoping to be pretty consistent this summer. So, and then hopefully we'll see what I can do next year. What you laughing at, Ty?
We have just been kind of sitting here, and while we were sitting here, Waz grabbed the remote and put on Courage the Cowardly Dog, which I did not notice, which I have not seen in years. And
17 years.
Just coincidentally, while you were talking, I just so happened to look up for the first time in probably about 5 minutes, and there it is.
All right. Yeah, but catch me on Twitch coming up soon. I'm excited to get back into it. So, all right. I think that's it for episode 51. Catch us next week for our review of A Quiet Place. Yes, sir. Keeping climbing. We'll be RB.
Hey, everyone out there, you be excellent to each other, and we'll be RB.
Thanks for stopping by. We appreciate it. Please share, like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you gotta do to help us grow. We really appreciate it. Anything you do does help us grow. So anything that you do, we definitely appreciate. So yeah, thank you for coming by. I'm always a big advocate for love. Obviously, this episode, points to me a little bit. But yeah, just tell your loved ones that you love them. You never know when something can happen. Life's too short. So thanks for stopping by, and we'll BRB.
Back Row Banter on the record. Pro love. We love love.
We do. I'll follow up with that. As always, spread peace, love, positivity. You never know where people are at in life. Somebody's always going through something. So try to be nice and be kind. And we'll BRB.
America. Ready for another lesson.
Hey, what web browser, do you use on your MacBook, Adam?
Chrome.
Yeah, me too, dude. Safari's ass.
Safari is not great. I use Safari on my phone, on my iPhone.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Because Chrome, for some reason, is an ass on mobile. But but for I use Chrome on my Windows as well. Not Firefox or anything.
Yeah. Are you guys, what about Ty and Nathaniel? Are you guys Google Chrome people?
Linux.
It's a Unix system.
I know this.
I know this program.
What do you run, Nathaniel? Do you run
Chrome. Chrome, yeah.
Yeah, I also run Chrome.
Google's got me, bro.
Okay, Google.
They've got most people, man. for
Yeah,
sure.
I feel like they have a lot of us by now. You're not alone in that one, Nathaniel.
I was seeing something the other day on Twitter. Everyone was like, they're like, oh, kids these days, they don't use Microsoft Word. They use Google Docs. And they're like, why is that? And it's like, it's because Google Docs has been giving them the software for free since they're 4. Like,
Yeah.
they put it in every school. And like my generation, as I was going out, I was like, that's genius by Google because every kid is
Yeah.
going to know how to use Google Docs by that point. And
And
then it
it's
just
just-
became
it's way more
the thing.
Way more convenient because I can just I have it. If I use a Google Doc, if I like am working on a school thing on my Google Doc on my PC, it's just right there on my Mac whenever I
Right.
pick it
Right,
up on my
just pull it
laptop.
up.
You know,
Yeah.
so the fact that it's just to the cloud like that, and I can even do it like even on my phone or something, is just way more convenient than having to figure out Word and Word Microsoft has like the OneDrive or something like that.
Yep.
Which I haven't even bothered trying to figure out, but it seems like just figuring that out is already less convenient than Google Docs. So why bother? Well, that was our Microsoft and Google focus group session for the day.
Sorry, Bill.
Sorry, Bill. Hope that divorce is going all right.
Do you think he just like gives a shit about Microsoft at all anymore? Like he's like
I
got to
would-
be semi-retired now at least, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I would still want it to be successful if I still have my name to attach. To
Yeah,
it
I
that
think he
much, you
I
know?
think he cares about the overall success of it,
But
but I
surely
think
he's not
he's
involved in the
absolutely
day-to-day.
hired somebody
Yeah.
who's
yeah,
hired
he-
somebody else who's also hired 3 other people who have also hired like 12 other people
Right.
to make sure that is flawless. Or, you know, as flawless as it can be.
Yeah, I don't think he really has much or any input at this point. I could be wrong. Obviously, I don't know, but I don't think he would care that much.
He just comes by and he says, "Take out the," and then he just
And
walks out
that's
the
it.
door.
And that was it. Just soft. Take out the micro.
Do you think Microsoft is a euphemism for his penis?
Yes.
Obviously.
Okay. Just making sure we're on the same page.
Has nothing to do with software and it being micro.
Hard.
Absolutely not. How dare you suggest such a thing, Nathaniel? It's definitely what I said.